Hello, everyone, and welcome to another horrific review. Flea and I are back as we discuss Resident Evil Degeneration, directed by Makoto Kimiya. Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield must battle a rogue warrior seeking revenge after unleashing the deadly G-Virus, whilst a mutated monster goes on a rampage. Welcome back. We may or may not have a Chris joining us. We've just finished over an Evil Live Plays channel, or What We Do in the Shadows vampire game, so you had to nip out there. Hopefully get back in time. If not,
fingers crossed.
Yeah, let's hear everybody has to say. He didn't even mention if he's seen the movie or not. Obviously, I'll give him all the links and stuff, so we'll see.
Hopefully, I mean, I had to watch it. It's only fair that he should.
And there's a spoiler for what type of stream this is going to be. I didn't hear it. I'll give it that. I did not hear it.
It was very much a popcorn movie. It's like you could safely sit there and eat plenty of popcorn while you're watching it.
Yeah, and just have it on in the background and not really miss anything. It's definitely geared towards the action side. And sorry,
no, after you.
I was going to say we were trying to fit it into the Resident Evil timeline, so I think this is more based on the games as opposed to the movies. And I can't remember if Raccoon City gets nuked in Resident Evil 2, the game. Obviously, it does in Resident Evil 2, the movie.
I'm just kind of like I'm googling the game to see if it does.
Yeah. But then you were saying you were doing a bit of digging, and we're reckoning it's between 4 and 5.
It describes itself. It describes itself as being Resident Evil 4.5. But whether or not that just gives you like a time when it's set, because it also says it's set 7 years after the events in Raccoon City.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been that long.
It shows you the destruction of Raccoon City in the film.
Yeah, because the whole antagonist as Curtis is seen going, "Let me through," like, because that's when you see a nuke go off and you just see fire. Yeah, that's your reaction, to be overly dramatic and not go, "Oh shit," not even stunned. And I'm not too sure I like Claire Redfield's character in this. I think she was done a bit dirty in this one.
She was, yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading through the plot of Resident Evil 2 to find out if there's a nuke in the end of it, and I don't think there is.
No, I think it was just the movies, wasn't it?
Because it's like at the end, it's kind of like at the end, it's as the three reach safety, Leon and Claire vow to continue their fight against Umbrella. It's like the destruction of the lab, and it literally ends there.
Yeah. That was a thing as well in this, like during the whole prologue and everything else. Umbrella essentially tanks. Like there is no Umbrella.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like it really glosses over it quickly, but it's like after what happened in Raccoon City, it's like everybody sold their shares in Umbrella to, what was it called? Will Farmer?
Will Farmer, yeah.
And so it's like Umbrella ceases to exist, and like Will Farmer takes all their shares and all their copyrights and whatever and drugs, and
it doesn't even look as cool. You see the Will Farmer trucks and all turn up and it's got a dopey green logo. You're like, why? What type of evil corporation is this? Come on, is this like bargain basement?
I mean, there's a scene later on in the film where there's they pay homage to Umbrella when Jill gets her hands on an umbrella, which is of course red and white. It's like, yes,
but I don't get it. I've never heard of Will Farmer before in my life. I've never heard of it in the games or anything.
It's a classic MacGuffin, isn't it? It exists for one purpose, and that's to to be in the film.
But they already had Umbrella for that, and Umbrella's much better.
Oh, yeah, but Umbrella doesn't exist anymore.
But why do that?
It's like it could be. It's like instead of like the game has quite the game. I mean, even I'm calling it a game. The cutscene, no film. The film has terrorist organization. They could have got rid of the. You could still have like Wolf Farmer there, but you could have like got rid of the terrorist organization, and just had like the remains of Umbrella operating like out of the sewers or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like the only thing that links back to the games, because I don't think this is meant to be. I don't think this is even meant to be part of the film series. It's like a continuation of the game series, but it's like it. I forgot the point I was going to make. It's kind of like it makes no sense because it's like everything's changed. The only like belligerents at the original game was like the T virus and the G virus.
Yeah. It's odd to place it. You don't feel. You feel like you're slightly offset from the Resident Evil universe. At least with the movies, you felt like you're a part of it. You felt like it was a separate storyline going on in the actual universe.
Yeah. It's like this one, it's like you felt you knew what would happen, but then something completely different happened, knocked you off balance, and that was you for the rest of the movie.
Because it starts off pretty straightforward. Okay, so we've got the events. Raccoon City gets nuked. Basically, everyone moves on. These are the spiraling events. They think they have the virus under control. It's out in the world. The world knows about it, the T virus. So that's fair enough. And I honestly thought it was going to be like Dawn of the Living Dead or something. You know what I mean? It's basically, instead of it being a mall, it's an airport.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to get their way out of it. That was going to be the entire movie. Yeah. I don't get it. And then flipping Claire Redfield, some sort of weird hippie dippy activist. Like it's basically Greenpeace, but in the Resident Evil world.
Not the direction I thought she'd take.
No. That's what I mean. They've taken a well-grounded character and they've really diminished her in this. That's the thing that's really annoyed me. Just thinking about it before we went live there. The thing that's really annoyed me about this movie is they have downgraded Claire Redfield and there's no need for it.
It feels like they've taken a step back from Resident Evil because it's like so little of the film was actually, Resident Evil. And it was a lot more kind of like soul searching and, oh, you must do this. And they did this because they were bad, but we're trying to do this because we're nice.
And put that with clunky animation because I mean, it's you're talking like it's almost like buffering. It's that bad, with like the facial expressions and that when they're talking and so forth. It's
the walk cycle. Ooh, but apparently they say, I don't know if it was rotoscoped or parts of it were rotoscoped.
Sorry, I missed that bit.
Sorry, I don't know if parts of it were rotoscoped or it was all rotoscoped. Personally, I totally blame Sony.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing that or the mocap or anything. I just see this as like really bad animation. Just the only time they really upped their game was at the end when we got to see Allison's boobs, or Angela's boobs. Sorry,
it's amazing how unflattening those flak vests are.
It's like they just like a life jacket get off.
It's like Jesus. Why are they called white life jackets? Mae Wests for a reason.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
it's like they got a different team on board just for that scene, and they're a bunch of weeps.
It's there had to be. It's an anime. There had to be some fan service in there somewhere.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they had to downgrade Claire Redfield. I liked her character, always have. I just don't know why they made her this sort of. She was also almost more zombie than the zombies. And like, I don't know if it's the actress, the way she was speaking. She's speaking very flat and monotone. But that and the animation, and if you've got bad animation, don't do close-ups of people. Like, if you know your animation's not up to par, do everything sort of slightly off. Don't have like full face capture
Yeah, but look
monologue
how,
speeches when you've
I
got
mean,
like a blank.
look how detailed the faces and the skin textures and everything were compared to like your normal drawn with a pen, like drawn with a pen or a stylus on a screen anime. There was way more detail there, and I think the uncanny, it was very uncanny valley for me. I think that's one of the things that was it. I couldn't get comfortable with the animation.
Yeah, it's grating. It really, it doesn't feel good. It is like somebody, you know, when somebody does a montage and they stick it up online of all the cutscenes from a particular game when they've played through it.
Yeah,
That's what this feels like.
yeah, it is. It's basically it's a 19-minute long cutscene. The only thing that one of the things that could have made this game better is if it actually included gameplay.
Yeah, it would have made sense, but as a movie, nah, I'm not.
This umbrella is gone. Will Farmer have now arrived. Will Farmer what?
Yeah, no. I almost feel like this is a sequel, or no, I mean, it's. I almost feel like there's a storyline within a storyline,
Yeah.
and they haven't quite tied it together. I just feel like there's something missing before we even start. And yeah, is it a rights thing? Is it certain storylines are not in touch, or blah blah blah? Is it the distance it enough from the franchise itself as a whole in case it does bomb? Did they not have the confidence to actually tie it into the video game storyline because they were afraid, especially with this the way it looked, that it
So
wasn't going to do well?
I only played the game series as far as 2, so I don't know anything about 3, 4, and 5. So it's like I went in here knowing like literally nothing about the background of what had happened after the bits I've played.
It's just I haven't played enough. Obviously, I got the 4, I think, so actually just hands on, and everything else has just been hearsay or games out because I don't have time to be. No, I mean, you're talking many hours out of your life to play these games. They're not messing about. But yeah, I find that. But we're getting this whole setup. They're meeting in the airport. They're in India. Yeah, they are. They're in India. But you couldn't tell. There's like 2 Indians, 2 actual
Wait,
Indians. Everyone else is Western.
It was actually set in India. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. She's in the.
Wow.
She'd flown to India to meet because the senator was going on a trip. What do you call it? Diplomatic trip or something. That's why she was flying to India, and she was meeting up with her contact. Yeah, this was actually set in India. You couldn't tell because it was so generically American that it may as well have been Chicago airport.
I thought it was. I honestly thought it was set in America. Jesus.
Here's a mad thing. I know this sounds crazy, but the country of India, they do have their own police force and their own army. So why was there all American police, American vehicles? They even got rid of stars. It's now SRS. Like it's not even or STS or something. Like Bergen based on stars anyway. They're not even proper stars agents. But everyone that turns up around the airport, and everyone in the there's 2 Indian characters in this, and that's it. And you're just like, why have you done this? Just set it in America then. You numpties. The only clue we get is at the beginning and the end that this is actually not set in America.
Wow.
That's crap.
I've got to be honest.
That is shit storytelling.
Right. I thought the opening was a mess.
It's one of them exposition dumps, isn't it? Openings.
It is, but then it's like it moves away from that. It carries on, and it's like Claire Redfield's like, oh my god, a senator who doesn't like his ear, he's a knobhead. Oh no, he's the kid. The kid goes, look, it's the bad man. That's it. It's a bad guy off the television, American senator. It's like, well, yeah, we can go with that, but it's just kind of like
Because wearing a baseball cap with a
argument.
full suit doesn't stand out at all.
That's he's trying to sneak through. That's his disguise.
May as well put a light bulb in his head.
It's
Flashing light.
I know it's absolutely. It's like, no, we go out the side entrance. I'm not going out the side entrance. I'm an American. I'm going out the front entrance. I can't do an American accent, not a sarcastic one anyway. It's like, I'm going out the front entrance. Baseball cap. 2 armed guards who are obviously armed guards because they're like 8 feet tall, wearing shades.
Yeah. This guy was such a cliche as well. Just every cliche you can think of.
What was wrong with his skin? How old was he?
I don't know. It was like folds within folds, and like he looked like what do you call him, Davy Jones? Davy Jones out of the Pirates of the Caribbean series. Oh, he just need a few barnacles.
He didn't. I don't think he didn't actually look that old. He just got some like really horrible skin condition, possibly terminal, which is why he was so angry all the time.
Yeah, so pasty. He was like pallid, pasty and stuff. I don't
I've never seen wrinkle. It's like he'd obviously been on some weird celebrity diet because his skin looked really stretched.
What was that weird Star Trek movie that did face stretching in it?
God, I can't remember.
It was one of the Picard ones, the Next Generation ones.
You remember?
Awful. They all did face stretching.
You remember? Do you remember the Terry Gilligan film Brazil?
Yep, it's been a while.
Like the mother in that was having all this weird like beauty treatments, like being wrapped in cling film and having a skin bulldog clip. But he reminded me of her, to be quite honest.
Yeah. God, it was just painful. Like you could just telegraph, okay, bad guy, right, get it, but could you not give him any depth? Like the best villains are the ones that have a purpose.
Yes.
And believe they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They're the best villains.
It's like a villain needs a purpose. And it has to be a purpose that you can get your teeth into so that you can look at the villain and say, do you know what? If I was in the same situation, I understand where he's standing. I could stand in his boots. This guy is just kind of like, it's almost like he's just been like drawn into the background.
Yeah, and we spent far too much time on him because he's essentially a non-character. He's more of a plot device. He's a plot device to get Claire Renfield to India, which happens to be America, the airport anyway, because you just invite a foreign country into like your airports and stuff because that's the way it works. No pushback.
That's his whole purpose, isn't it? He's the plot hook that Claire Redfield hangs off.
Yep, but then why bother with Claire Redfield in this? Because they downgrade her character and relegate her to the back. So,
from what I've been finding out, one of the big draws of this film was the fact that it was Claire Redfield back together with Leon Kennedy.
Yeah, like Resident Evil 2. But they did nothing with it. And like I said, they even kicked her off the side because we got a fresh set of boobs in here. That's all I can remember about Angela's character because she was a wooden plank as well until the last scene when she became a pure 100% anime character. And just stuck out like a sore thumb because she was like, her character with the sun glinting on her and stuff like just didn't fit in.
That's
It's like a completely different animation team drew her for the last scene.
Everyone else was in shadow apart from her because it's like you've got it's like Leon standing there. Leon, he can't see where he's going out of one of his eyes because he's got an edgy bang going over his face, and he's there wearing like his leathers and he's like his gun on his hip. And Claire Redfield's there wearing, the jeans and the red, the red jogging top that she always wears. And there's just like Angela's just standing there in like the summer dress with this single beam of sunshine, just like putting her in a pool of light.
It was odd. It was very strange.
The people who created this knew where they wanted our eyes pointing.
Yeah, it was ambitious away from. So you have a happy memory at the end of the movie, basically.
All I could think,
Forget the whole plot.
I saw her character. Her character turned around. I'm so glad the film wasn't in 3D. I'd have ducked. But
Wow.
I just remember looking at her and thinking, that poor woman, how uncomfortable must she have been wearing that flak vest? And there's no wonder she looked angry.
Yeah, that would pinch.
I mean,
I
there's compression and then there's compression, but Jesus, phew.
How do you call?
Oh mine, but I reckon she was the best character in it.
No, she was just Flip's sake. I'm trying to think of Mariko Chan's friend. Squish.
Squish. Yes.
Sakura. Is it Sakura? Yeah, it is. No, that's Mariko. Sorry. Kamui, isn't it? Kamui?
God, I'm trying to
Camille.
remember. It's kind
Camille,
of
Camille, the young one.
we watch these things and I go like blank them out my memory as quickly as possible. Blank them out my memory as quickly as possible. It's like, yeah, I know you meant the one who was like, he kind of like gives her a hug from behind him.
Yes.
Sounds like, oh, your boobs have gotten bigger.
Yep. Or how do you know it was me? The Squish. Yeah.
Yes.
That was essentially the character that got drawn in here, and I mean,
that was
in that style, and
I mean, that it's like. I don't know how I feel about that, because it's kind of like it tries to be a really, really serious film. Literally right until that last moment where they're all saying goodbye and going their separate ways.
Yeah. And then it got like very soap opera. There's a bit of soap opera stuff in this as well.
It was no, Leon Kennedy, I am your father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the whole setup, basically the infection. We had zombies on a plane, which we kind of knew was going to happen.
Yeah, where did the random go? The thing that got me, is you're having like this. It's like you've got it's like you've got Claire standing there having an argument with this senator. And it's like a guy comes staggering towards them wearing a zombie mask, pretending to be a zombie. Because Claire, she kicks me in the nuts, pulls his mask off, and goes, "That's distasteful." And then a real zombie appears out of nowhere.
Because that wasn't a setup for that at all.
No, it's like everybody goes crazy because of like this. That's it. One of the obvious security guards goes to like stop the real zombie and gets bitten, and everybody screams and runs away. As they're doing it, a plane crashes into the terminal. The door opens, all these zombies fall out. Got to be honest, that was very Resident Evil.
But then that's where it ends.
It was very like early Resident Evil, because I think like I said, I haven't played 3, 4, 5. I haven't played any of the ones after 2. But it's kind of like you can see the games have matured. The more games that are coming on, there's more story in the game. It's not just about walking through a door and then having to walk around a chair to get away from a zombie, like the original one was. But it's kind of like this kind of it's the first couple of games, like this kind of storytelling. Door opens, bunch of zombies come through.
Yeah, very Resident Evil 2, actually, if you think about it. But yeah, it's just really cliched plot points to get everything, get the disaster at the airport. And yeah, and then we see the SRT, they're called. Yeah, the basically discount stars team.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I was like, who the hell are the SRT?
No context.
He's like, and they're squinting at the screen trying to see what it says underneath the back.
I'm like, that's not stars. There's not enough letters there. You know what I mean? And you're sort of. I'm just like, why didn't it just stick to the main? Why not just have a story in the universe, have it connected to the games? What are they trying to do with this? That's my main question. What are they hoping to achieve with this?
I don't know if I should blame Sony, Capcom, or both. But it's kind of obviously the SRT, right? Stars are like the American pros. The SRT are obviously like, Stars, Bollywood division.
But they're all Western.
Yeah, they are. They're all Western.
This is my problem. It's not right. The only Indian, there's like 3 Indian characters. The wee girl, her aunt, and everyone else is like, you may as well be in Detroit or somewhere because that's it.
Until you said it's set in India, and I went back and checked. I'm like, my God. I guess because the place it happens in is a town called Harvardville. Harvardville, India.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
It's so clunky. Like, excuse me. It's like when you can't get this basic element of storytelling right. That's what I'm saying. You need lore masters. You need to have any franchise you're building. You must have at some point early on, even if it's one person to begin with, you need a lore master. And then you need a lore master team that nothing gets produced unless it goes through that team.
Yeah.
So that timelines, no spoilers, no tripping over anything, you know what I mean? Any side property. And you don't give things a green light unless it's gone through that team. And that team must be competent in the lore of the particular franchise.
The thing is, it's like according to my notes that I've taken, the guy who wrote the story for this is a guy called Hiroyuki Kobayashi, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
His name is familiar to certain people because he's also the person who wrote the storyline for Resident Evil 2, Dino Crisis 2, Resident Evil Code Veronica, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 4.
He directed it though. He didn't write it.
No, the guy the guy who directed it is a guy called
I'll say it.
The guy who directed it is a guy called Makoto.
Oh, sorry, Makoto. Yeah, Makoto Kamiya.
Makoto. What would you like to know? One of the other things that Makoto Kamiya has been involved with? Bleach, the live-action movie,
and Gantz, which we're going to cover at some point.
He did a better job on Gantz. You'll be glad to know.
I like Gantz. I remember Gantz more than Gantz, but yeah.
But it's just kind of like it's right. It's like the talent to make the movie we think this should be is there, because there are so many people on cast who are involved with like the Resident Evil BioCrisis series of games. But it kind of feels like they've just thrown this together using loose plot points. And although it's like it comes across as quite a tight story, there are so many gaps in it, and the gaps are all in the background. So it's like, this is the guy. Oh no, this isn't the guy who did that. Is this the guy? No, he's not that either.
But Shinji Mikakama, he's only one member though of a team of 3 writers, so that might have something to do with it. It sounds like this has been made by committee. And there's a lot of people sticking their fingers in the pie.
That's just.
And is it like are they trying to just create an entire alternative storyline to create a bunch of movies off, but then safely protecting the game in case it all goes wrong?
That's it. It's kind of like I actually think it's almost as if this film is set up to have a game made out of it. I mean, we both said it like half a dozen times. It feels like a series of cutscenes. It's like it's like you were saying earlier. It feels like a movie that's made out of cutscenes from a game when you cut all the gameplay out.
So do you think this is a game development? And then they didn't go ahead with the game?
I wonder if they were thinking like, if we get a really, really amazing result when this hits the box office. It had a really limited box office there. I mean, it was only shown in Tokyo, Nagoya, Osaka in Japan. Outside of Japan, it was only shown in America at New York and LA.
Yeah,
it was barely shown anywhere.
I can see why. Could you picture going and watching this on the big screen? Oh my, you'd be so disappointed.
Like I watched it on what's it? I watched it on an 11-inch tablet. I'd hate to watch it on like a 36-foot wide screen.
Yeah. What's mine? 30. No, mine's only like a 19-inch. This one. So this is only a bit, I watched it in
Yeah,
this.
I gotta say, I watched it on my tablet, not my monitor.
Yeah.
But
I watched it
damn,
in the monitor, and honestly, if I'm just thinking, I wouldn't have liked to watch it in the TV. I was tempted to go into stick it on, but honestly, I would have been really annoyed then. And then a picture going to the cinema and seeing this, you'd have been going, I want my money back.
it for computer graphics, Tron was better than this. The first Tron.
No, I don't get what they were trying to achieve with this. There's nothing good, because honestly, this wasn't making me thinking, oh, I want to watch the next one. I'm so riveted to see what the next one's going to be. I'm like, meh.
Yeah, it's like
it's up in the wheel. It comes up in the wheel. If it doesn't, oh shit, talk about much. I need to do that before we finish. Keep talking. But yeah, it's like I've no excitement to carry on with this. If that makes sense.
I'm looking at the stuff that the chief writer did before. He's done some really good stuff.
But once again, you can be the best writer on the planet. If you're part of a terrible team, then you're stuffed.
Oh God! You also wrote the main screenplay for Resident Evil Damnation. Which is the next film in the series.
No, Infinite Darkness is the next one. Damnation's number 3.
Oh, it's Damnation. He says that Damnation far surpasses Degeneration.
Well, that's not exactly a high bar, is it?
You'd have trouble tripping over it.
Let's be honest.
He won't be writing anymore, because apparently he passed away 10 years ago. I didn't know that. On my birthday, no less. Thanks.
Oh, flip, there you go. No, I think this is a case of this was definitely a studio-led, as in made by committee.
Like one of those. It's like, right, I'm going to sit down and write the screenplay for this movie. Oh, but before you do, here's a sheet of paper. This is what we want in the movie.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it feels like he was that busy putting in the things that needed to be in there. He didn't have any time to put anything in there that he wanted or other fans would have wanted to be in there.
But this is what winds me up about franchises once they get to a certain point. They get taken over. Nobody wants to know when it's starting out or building up the fan base. Once they get to a certain point, you've all these arseholes then want to get involved and stick their name to it. And honestly, this is where it goes wrong. And you can just see it here. You can just see that these are people who've just got, we want to do this because we want to do this from it, or we want to sell these toys, or we want to do blah, blah, blah. Maybe it is meant to be a game. Who knows? But they've poked and they've prodded at it. They've messed about with the plot. Tell one simple storyline. Like, even the storyline, this gets really convoluted. And you're just like, why?
It is. It's like you can see that what they were. You can see what they were trying to do, but it feels like that somewhere during the process they dropped it and broke it, and then just tried to stick it back together again, and it doesn't quite fit right. It's like you look at the games, you look at the films, and it's almost entirely unlike every single one of them. Yeah, the only things from Resident Evil are Leon, Claire, the T virus, and the G virus.
Yeah. And that's it. That's where the resemblance ends, because there's not even the Umbrella Corporation in it anymore.
No, not anymore.
That's one of the biggest characters in the Resident Evil franchise, is the Umbrella Corporation. as a character. You know, you can't not. They're behind everything, and then they bring this discount, you know, bargain basement pharmaceutical company that doesn't even looks as if it's just starting out.
Will Farmer.
Even the logos and the vans and that, you're just like, what the hell?
Will Farmer what? I mean,
Will Pharma be better than Umbrella? No. Will Pharma convince us to watch any more of these movies? No.
no. Yeah, but it's like, but that's it, because it's like you have to remember. But after this is all finished, the answer is it's like Will Farmer? No. Tricell will. It's like the names just get worse.
It's like one thing the Alien universe hasn't done is bring all the other companies. Like everyone knows Whale and Yutani, but there's about 3 or 4 other different major companies that are in competition. But they don't smack you over the head with that. You know what I mean? It would get brought in gradually over a series. They never did that. You know, this is just going, oh, by the way, now there's all this MacGuffin, have at it. And they just like completely take you off the Umbrella. Still should have been this heyday, and then Will Pharma maybe trying to claw its way up or have its own schemes, or you know, a bit of espionage or something, you know, that which would explain the T virus getting grabbed and stuff. You know, once the rumors got out, then other companies went, oh, we need to find this. There's so many more plots, but oh my god, this one is just, I think you said it best, it's just a mess.
Yeah, Will Farmer should have been the bad guys in this. It should have been like Will Farmer and like the scattered remains of Umbrella fighting it out, and the T virus being released, and then it should have actually been like a true Resident Evil story instead of kind of like thing that annoys me. You've got all these things. Oh my god, it's the T virus! It's the T virus! It's going to be terrible. It's completely contained in the airport.
An airport, one of the most secure facilities in any country in the world, are airports.
It's like, yes, we've blocked this entrance here and the entrance there and the entrance there. Nothing.
But do you know you cannot move through an airport? Right, everyone gets security badges and different colors, and you can only move through the doors that have your color on it. There's not one person that can move through an entire airport. It doesn't matter what level they are. That's actually, you know, because I've done the training with folks, you know, that, you know, they're working Heathrow and stuff back in the day. So, and I've sat through that training, I don't know how many times, and the different colored badges that, you know, I mean, if you're a baggage handler, you have a blue badge, and it only lets you go. And there's even a differentiation between landside and airside. So landside's when you first walk into an airport and the check-in desk and all are there, right? You don't even, if you are principally a landside employee, you don't get to move to the airside. You know, I mean, there's all these security checks and balances, so that airport doesn't even make sense. It still had electricity, so therefore all the doors, you know, you don't get through them.
It makes sense for Resident Evil though. Actually, no, because you'd have to run through part of it and find like the red key card.
Yes.
And then you'd have to go through the red key card and find the green key card, and then go back through the first area to use the green door to find the blue key code to find the yellow.
But the point is as well, all the infection happens landside.
Yeah.
Airside should be completely cut off. I mean, you think about people have tried to drive Land Rovers into airports and stuff and set them and pull things up. You don't get further. You know what I mean? Airports are the most secure facilities on the planet, especially international airports. It just doesn't happen. It's already contained. The facilities are already there in an event of a terrorist attack, because you do not get through from landside to airside until you go through all the security barriers and stuff. So everyone just doesn't go to departure. You know yourself, if you go through departures, you don't just turn around and walk back out.
Yeah, this is kind of bad, right? It's an anime. It's computer generated anime, yeah. We're complaining about an anime for not being realistic enough.
But
giant robots with
no,
some
but
broomsticks, no problem.
my point is, you ground the reality before you accept the fantastical.
Yeah.
If you're using the real world, not a fantasy world, but even a fantasy world, you need to have certain realities, things, limitations. I always talk about that with magic, for example. You can't just have people throwing thunderbolts. There has to be a cost to the magic. So you can only do thunderbolts, but not firebolts, and there has to be a drain on the wizard. By using that level or certain spells, they have to recover. And like any role playing game, you just don't. You have to have a recovery period. And the more powerful the thing you're trying to do, obviously, the more of a drain it's going to be on you. Or you need certain components or ingredients or help, or something's a ritual, can only be cast via ritual, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
You need that reality built in before you can accept dragons and gnomes and dwarves and elves and ogres and orcs and blah, etc., etc., etc. So you have a fully functioning airport, and you're telling me that all of that just goes out the window, and then you're meant to accept zombies running about because you need that sort of, right, we'll go through, even if the plane had a smash through in the other side, but there was only the one part where they could get through, that would make sense, and then they shore it up. It's just the whole thing. And did you notice how all the characters, like I said, it happened. It's not as if the plane landed in Arrivals and the zombies got out. That would have made sense for the air side, the people on the air side in the departure lounges.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It crashed. So everybody in the departure lounges would have been completely free from the virus. Because that's our side, you know what I mean? There's tons of security. You just close them doors. It's all designed in case of a terrorist attack. Or else would have loads of terrorist attacks every day. You don't do that in an airport. And then there's the stuff you don't see, like a security teams and all, that you only see if things go really bad and are in place.
So it's just it's like you don't see you don't see any kind of retaliation or any response until you actually see like I was going to call them stars, the TRS. TRS? I think it's TRS.
SRT.
Yeah, the SRT. You see the SRT turn up.
And they are an absolute joke.
I've got to be honest, I was expecting more casualties.
I was thinking, fucking Rick Mail. Do you remember the movie Whoops Apocalypse?
Oh God, yes.
We're the fucking SAS. Fucking jumping over bodies and stuff. I was expecting something like that.
Oh God, it's like, and then it's like we've got a specialist. We've got a specialist coming in. He's going to tell us how to do things. Door opens, like a cloud of darkness comes through the door. Leon S. Kennedy steps out of it.
Even that was a bit cliche. It was like
it couldn't have been any worse. It'd been like a dun 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 kind of fanfare as he'd come through it.
Or it's like one of them dopey characters Arnold Schwarzenegger used to play. You know what I mean?
It's like, I'm just going to go and get my gun. I'll be back.
Yeah, and of course everyone else is carrying on. He just needs one pistol and blah blah blah. And it's just like, nah.
It's like he's got his leather coat and whatever the hell that pistol was, because I didn't recognize it.
It's a very childish script, isn't
it? It's very kind of it's. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and find an argument for that one. Yeah, it's kind of like it's
like something a 16-year-old would write.
It's almost kind of like they're. No, it does. It feels like it almost feels like they're insulting the intelligence of the viewer by making the script as easy and as simple to understand as you possibly can. It's like, right then, the people who are going to see this are going to be like, the people who are going to want to watch this are the elementary school kids. So we've got to use like the easiest language that we can possibly find. Either that, or it was just like really, really badly translated into English. It almost makes me want to find out like a copy in Japanese and watch that. Almost.
Yeah, but I wouldn't honestly.
Mm.
I'm not even that intrigued to visit this again.
Mm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a non-entity. It was such a non-entity of a movie.
It could have been so much better.
Yeah. Just the story. Tell one true
Mm.
story. Pick your antagonist. Pick who the bad guy is, and just stick with it. And have
See,
fun.
I kind of liked that, but I figured out about halfway through who the protagonist was.
Yeah, but then there's this whole other bit of it. But let's go back to Curtis. You know, the main focus of this as well. We see him in the beginning. Obviously, his family was in Raccoon City when it got wiped out. He
Yeah,
decided he wants them to tell the truth, so he's been in this like crusade, and then it turns out he's behind the terrorist attacks.
I did like the way they introduced him, where he just kind of brushes past Claire Redfield in the aftermath of like the zombie outbreak, and she's just kind of like, Curtis Miller.
But they did nothing with it.
Yeah, so that's just it. Because I've got to be honest, like Curtis Miller, and I'm like, the bloody hell's Curtis Miller? I don't remember anybody called Curtis Miller.
Have we had, apart from like, and they didn't tell you, like they just show the picture of, and the animation's that bad that really everybody looks like everybody else. So there's no like defining features. Curtis Miller at the beginning doesn't look like Curtis Miller now. I know they're trying to do him with the long hair and stuff, but still, he's that badly. They're that badly drawn here that you can barely.
You've got to be honest. Later on in the film, where you see a picture of Curtis Miller with his family who died in Raccoon City, it doesn't look like Curtis Miller.
No, that's what really changes. That it's just ridiculous.
It's kind of like every time you see him from a different angle, it's a completely different person.
And they spend all this time. The freaking, I hate activists. I do. They annoy me. It doesn't matter what your cause is. If you're an activist, you're a dickhead. If you're disrupting and waving placards and standing in front of people, you're an arsehole. You need to get a job and a life.
Yeah, but it's I like the way they kind of like did the dirty on the activists by like such and such and such and such and such and such. Oh my god, it's all our fault, isn't it?
I like that. Yeah,
everybody just turns down and go like, yeah, it's all your fault, bloody activists. And it's like, wow.
But yeah, you're just, once again, that's a whole set. Why didn't they just have the activists get hold of the virus and do it like as a unit, not Curtis acting on his own, and then the activists are here, and then they're tying it into Claire Redfield, blah blah blah. I'm just like, what the hell?
I'm going to say the activists did get hold of it. It was just a different group of activists that so far had nothing to do with the story.
But once again, there's an extra element. I can't remember. Wasn't Claire a journalist?
Pum.
Claire Redfield, wasn't she a journalist?
The only thing I remember about Claire Redfield is she's Chris's sister.
Human rights etc. If she's
younger. That's as much as I remember of the character of Claire Redfield from the games. As for the films, got to be honest.
So they brought Tara Save into it. So was she a Stars member?
No, she was. Chris wasn't she? She was in Raccoon City because she was coming to see her brother when the T virus broke out, and then she was she saved by Leon?
Just looking at her bio here, the Resident. You know, there's a Resident Evil wiki, by the way.
I didn't actually.
Yeah. If you want all the breakdown stuff, there's it's quite handy. No, she was a Stars member.
Oh.
Yeah, she was in Stars. Her and Chris were in Stars, but she'd come to, obviously Stars isn't just one city, but
yeah,
they both joined.
That explains why when she finds herself surrounded by zombies in the middle of the airport, Chris is like, Claire, throws her a gun, and she like juggles it and does several tricks with it before blowing the zombie's head off. Huh.
Yeah, because they teamed up, and they're both, because they were trying to. This is where the films did a good job of basically mimicking Resident Evil 2. Stars were basically trying to hold the line in the city as this was happening, and it was all just going to pot. And then there's obviously these two are trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Yeah. Also, once again, downgraded. There's no reason to downgrade her character.
It's no good. I'll have to go and watch the films.
Why don't you just have them together as a team arriving? Why not just have an incident and they're still in stars and they arrive together as a team? Why did the SRT were an absolute waste of time as a plot device in this? They could have just had the plot, as in the regular airport security, contain the area, which would make sense. And then the senator's trapped and stars go in, and then we're back with Leo and Claire, or, it just felt so painfully contrived. That's my issue. I didn't feel like they were trying with a plot point here.
Wait, there was a plot point? I think I'm getting Claire Redfield mixed up with Jill Valentine.
Oh yeah, Jill Valentine.
I've got to be honest. I am not an expert at Resident Evil.
Jill Valentine was a police officer.
There we go. Then I'm not an expert on Resident Evil by any chalk, not in the slightest.
It's a massive franchise.
My role here tonight is to complain about the quality of the animation.
Yeah, and quite rightly so, because it really is jarring. It takes there's nothing here to bring you into the plot. There's nothing here to invest you in this movie.
The entire thing is just it's a PlayStation 2 cutscene.
And we've seen better PlayStation 2 cutscenes.
Yeah.
Give more plot, more of a story. And then here's another thing. Like, I've a major problem with Angela Miller's character.
Oh,
it's just right. She's the head of this team, and her brother is a known terrorist.
That reveal, it was kind of like she revealed it. I'm like, I mean, surely the first thing that should happen if that has happened is she'd be removed from a position of power and placed under house arrest.
Not even under house arrest, but you don't get you basically you drop your clearance. You become a receptionist or something. You don't get access to anything or part of operations.
How did she get her job when her brother's a known terrorist?
But even you have a thing called CTR, counter-terrorist check. If you go to any sort of job above, it deals with anything above restricted.
Yeah,
you have to have that done, and you have to do it to join the army. You have to do it to work for the Home Office. You have to do it, various agencies. The higher up the ladder you go, the more access you have to even secret or something, you need a higher level check. And that includes background, not just yourself, but your family. You have to give all your family's details. And it's a lengthy process. I've been through it a few times.
Wow, I can imagine.
In fact, last time I was through it was about a year and a half ago. I was going for a job. And then in the department I was going to join. But I had to go through all that, nonsense. And you have to everything. You have to put in there, and then they check not just you, but they check your family as well. And if you've been in relationships, you have to put all their details. You know what I mean? It's really in-depth, lengthy process. And that's even just to work as, you're not jumping out of helicopters, but you're, even working on a computer.
Yeah.
With information. You need that level. So how is somebody like her even sitting in a position or being involved in this and nobody known? It doesn't make sense, especially when it's all over the news and he's well known and plastered all over the place. Dot A, dot B, basic due diligence. That's one of the checks. When somebody becomes on a list, then they check if they've any connections in government departments to make sure that they can't compromise, individuals. That's the whole point of it. That's why you get asked as well if you're in debt and stuff. If you're
Yeah.
so many £1,000 of debt, various things, you can't get certain jobs because you're open to bribery. Do you know?
I,
You know what I mean? It's all. This is just basic stuff.
I think the way she said the line, Curtis Miller, Curtis Miller is my older brother. I think that maybe that's one of the points where I gave up. There were several points where I gave up in this film.
Yeah, that was one of them. I'm just like, nah. Then we have the senator's character, and it's so obvious they're making an obnoxious that he's meant to be the twist, and you can just see it coming a mile off.
It is. It's kind of like he's meant to be the bad guy, but it just feels like they're trying too hard to sell it. It's like you know when you're talking to a child, and the child is like the child's lying to you, and the child's lying, and the lie just gets like wilder and wilder and wilder and wilder. It feels like that when you're talking to this senator. It's like is it like the senator's an arsehole. And it's like the longer you talk to him, the bigger an arsehole he becomes. And it never stops. There's no end to it. It's just like it just keeps going and going and going and going to the point where it becomes unbelievable.
He's no off switch or he's no dimmer. And also, if you are a politician, now it's hard to tell in this world because they're ridiculous now, but this was made before 2020.
Yes.
And there was still an idea that to be a diplomat, a politician, or better still, an international liaison of some sort, you needed to have people skills. You needed to actually make people, have that fake smile, be friendly. This guy is nothing like that.
Well, it's like he's American.
But even some of them have to be, turn on the charm. Because the stick doesn't always work. Sometimes you need the carrot. And it's like, they have to charm each other too. It's straight. He's such an unbelievable cliche, two-dimensional character.
It's like, it's very rare to find a character that I mean, unless it's like, it's like a children's anime. It's like there's normally like a certain level of expected complexity to a bad guy, in the same way there's a certain level of complexity expected of a hero, or even just a plain background character who only appears in one episode. There's none of it in here. It's like Leon, like it's almost like Claire Redfield, Leon Kennedy's like characters are basically Leon Kennedy, Claire Redfield. It's like it's like you know them from the games. That's exactly what they even walk like they do in the games. Their facial expressions.
I was waiting for the controller
in the game.
Press X to open door. I was waiting for that.
That would have actually have made the film better.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, it's like I was film is 90 minutes long. I was waiting like 50 minutes waiting for it to take off. After 50 minutes, I realized that it wasn't, and just settled down for the last 40 minutes.
Yeah. And then the last 40 minutes, this is where this should have been contained in the airport, a busy rescue mission.
See,
covering part of the plot of what's going on, possibly leading on to more movies.
Right. There is an anime. It's on the list. It's called Zom 100.
Yes.
100 things. Zom 100. 100 things to do before you die. Right. There is, and without doing too many spoilers, there's an episode set in a shopping mall. Yeah. It is everything that this film should have been in 23 and a half minutes that this failed to do in an hour and a half.
But even if you want to go movies, Dawn of the Living Dead.
It's like it's just kind of like
both. They're set in shopping malls, both of them, and they've more depth and make use of the characters. And even the remake still manages to give a bit more depth. You know, the original 1978 one goes a certain direction and it does it really well. But oh my god, 80, when was the 81, 80 something, the remake. But it takes it in another direction, but manages to refresh it while still having the familiarity. And even how the both times the mall gets broken into by different elements, in both movies.
Yeah.
They use a different way to basically, right, we'll have to leave the mall now because it would just go on indefinitely and have no finishing point. But they managed to do it in a way that you're invested and you're down, you believe it. And you believe them both using the shopping mall to their advantage, and actually living there.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I wonder what this would be like if they remade it.
They couldn't do a worse job. They genuinely couldn't do a worse job if they remade this.
I don't know, some of the remakes out there they've tried.
No, but this is bad.
Mm.
It's a bad story. It's bad, the animation's bad. Like they could not do any worse than this because already when you switch off 25 minutes into it, and just sort of click, you feel that click in your brain go, I don't really care what happens.
I was okay. I had chocolate.
Yeah, but that's when you just don't care about where the plot goes. You're like, okay, that's a thing. That's a thing.
That's it. It's bad. It's bad when you get the halfway point in the movie and you just don't care anymore.
Yeah. It's funny that basically the first half of the movie is from getting one side of the airport to the other, where all the guards are waiting. That's half a movie. They're not even traveling through the airport. You know what I mean? They're just in the foyer.
Yeah, literally, they only have to cross. They only have to cross. Like, what was it? 4 rooms? 4 rooms and a couple of corridors.
Yeah.
It's like it takes them all the time to do it, and every time there's like something to stop them or slow them down. It's the senator who does it.
The fact that he couldn't even walk or jog a little bit, like imagine being that out of shape. I'm no Adonis, as people can tell. I've got a few extra chins here, etc. I don't work out, but I keep myself. I do walk and stuff where I can. I keep myself reasonably active.
Yeah.
This guy is ridiculous. He's just a plot device, and
I remember by the time they got out of the airport, he got a limp, but I don't actually remember him hurting his leg.
No, he just fell over a few times himself over his own feet, and then he got fixed again when he was able to run out to the guard. It was odd.
Sympathy limp. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the doctor in this, your classic. Oh, here we go. We've got generic British accent. He's going to be the villain. Like and the glasses and everything, and you're just like, okay, here's the villain.
Right. He felt when he was introduced and through most of the film, that character was his name, Fredrickson, something like that.
Yeah.
He felt so out of place. He almost looked as if he'd been designed by someone else and thrown in at the last minute. He never quite matched the scene he was in.
Yeah, once again, it's a collection of scenes by committee, and the next committee that jumped in didn't look at the work from the past committee, and it's all disjointed, and it's even the characters are drawn slightly different. They move slightly differently. Like, do you know we've seen lots of stuff, and you get the feel for the particular series, and you get the movement of the characters, and you get the way they're drawn. And the thing is, even the ones we don't like still had a coherency to them.
Yeah.
Demon City Shinjutsu, for example, beautifully drawn. Like, despite everything with the plot,
yeah,
you're part of that universe, and if another one came out in the same style, you could tie them together. Your brain would register. this doesn't even register in the same like 3 characters and 2 of them are drawn differently in the one scene. You're just like, what the hell?
It feels that way, doesn't it? It feels if like different groups did like the designs for different characters and they just slung them in. I mean, it's like, but look at the mess that is Paranoia Agent. It's like if you Paranoia Agent is one of these things where you've got to sit in rapt attention or it doesn't make sense.
But you still know you're in that universe.
Anyway, yeah, but it's like the continuity is there. It's like from like episode to episode, minute to minute, second to second, the continuity is there. The care has been taken to make sure that everything is like running at the same speed. Every people look the same. I swear to God, there's like 3 or 4 different versions of Leon in this film. Because the Leon you see right at the end is not the Leon who walks in through the office.
Even Claire Redfield, like when the second half of Claire Redfield looks different from first half. After she gets shot in the leg.
Oh yeah, she got shot in the leg, didn't she?
But she just walked that off. You know what I mean?
Well, but it's what you do, isn't it? I mean, actually, these action heroes.
But yeah, like I said, the Doctor's characters, like he's another one just been plotted in there. And of course, he's
hello, English accent. He's up to no good.
Yep, that's every cliche. Like I said, every cliche they could think of that's thrown in here. And I'm just like, what is happening here? So, the Will Farmer stuff turns out apparently that's the vaccine, the T virus.
That's it. That's why everybody's got to love. It's like, wait, is that true? It's like, well, yes, it's true. That's why everybody's got to love Will Farmer and be nice to them because they've worked on a vaccine to the T virus.
At what point, obviously, it has to be administered beforehand, but still. And also, once again, they're in a secure airport. Really, they couldn't have hung on. If they were barricaded in, like, once again, business class, big heavy security. You don't just walk into business class or big heavy security doors. Everything in the airport, anything that leads from land side to air side has tons of security doors, so you can't just barge your way through. And they never, if the airplane crashing had knocked out the power and everything was in total black, that would have made sense. But it doesn't work like that because there's got these designs in airports, so you don't just do that. So they would have been just safe, and then maybe we could have had a bit more exposition about the purpose of Will Farmer. Oh yes, we have developed, like, that shouldn't have been a secret. Oh, we have developed the vaccine, blah blah blah, and then that just took care of the.
That's just it. The whole reason that Claire and everybody else were hating on Will Farmer was because they'd inherited everything that had come from Umbrella. So everything that had come from Umbrella was in their hands. Boo hiss. They're like corporate. They're going to do terrible, terrible things with it. So we need to be activists and bring them down before they can hurt us all with all this stuff that they've got. And then it's kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, they're the good guys.
Yeah.
This film is doing it. So this film is totally doing itself no favors.
No.
No favors whatsoever.
And the fact that goes on after they get rescued from the airport. At the end, this is where it just falls off the wheels. It's like, oh shit, we finished too early. We've still got 40 minutes. What do we do?
It's like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean this isn't like a normal half-hour long episode? What do you mean this is got to go on for another 40, 50 odd minutes?
Oops.
Quick, write a plot.
That's what all the just posted notes, because that's the way this goes. It just goes all over the place.
It is. It's like the first half. The first half is like semi-coherent. It's like you can follow through. You can guess what's going to happen next. The second half, it's just a free for all. It's just kind of like, here's the suggestion box, right? What you think's going to happen? It just.
Yeah.
I did kind of work out what was going to happen to Curtis.
Yeah, that was kind of telegraphed.
Because it was kind of like, yeah, this Curtis Miller, there's no way he's going to get out of this alive because he's like the air quotes bad guy.
Or was he? Because they tried to make that even convoluted that he technically wasn't the bad guy. There was somebody else pulling the strings above him, and he was a dupe. Same with Fredericks. But I don't know. I give up. Do you know what would have been better if Curtis had grabbed Fredericks and made him walk him down to get the answers?
Yeah.
And then Fredericks stabbed him with the G virus just to get away.
Yeah, because it's the bit where it's the bit where it's like I keep wanting to call him Umbrella. It's the bit where it's like Fredericks and Claire Redfield go to like Will Farmer's headquarters, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get the information you want to see. I won't be a moment, old bean."
Oh Jesus Christ! I was just like,
Yeah,
I was like this. The minute he did that, my hand went into my face. I face palmed. I was like, "You really?
It couldn't have been any funnier if it had been Armstrong and Miller. It's like ring, 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 ring. Hello, Claire Redfield. Hello. Terribly sorry to bother you, old bean, but I think I've found a time in section 4. You think section 4? I had to go there to get the information you wanted, jolly old chap. Oh, by the way, I've found a time bomb. Big explosion.
Also, let's say the thing with the plot reveal that he was doing whatever, and what they showed was the payphone with the cord cut. The thing's got a receiver. Click. There you go.
It's like I like the fact
you just go click.
It's like, yeah, I've ripped the telephone off the thing. Now I'm going to put it back in its cradle. You could tell he was British, you see, because that's where the phone belonged, so that's where we had to put it.
Or was this written by kids who'd never seen a landline before or a payphone, and they only heard about them in ancient texts?
God. After this is finished, I'm going to need a biscuit.
Didn't I tell you that a couple of weeks ago I had a kid legit ask me what an SD card was?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I'm just going, no, I'm not that. I'm older. This is new technology. No, and I just had a meltdown. I'm like,
it's like, yeah, but kids these days don't understand CDs. Kids these days don't understand DVDs and Blu-rays because everything's online and streaming. Never give a kid a book.
I just had a melt. I'm just like, no, this is not that old. This is like still new, and you still get smaller versions. It's just, you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was it was one of those ones that the smaller ones. It wasn't like the micro one that we get for the phones now.
It's like
they still exist. They're still used. What the hell?
It's like I was alive and of voting age when this thing.
Yes. Oh my word! Yeah, that's what this feels like. It feels like somebody's never encountered a payphone before, so they didn't understand how to write it into the plot.
It's like.
Also, why have payphones in the secure facility? I know I can get the idea of landlines. Makes sense. Everything's contained, but blah.
It makes the plot work.
Okay.
It makes the plot work. It's like we've walked around this entire facility. It's the only payphone in the entire facility. It's there to make the plot work.
Okay.
Depressing, isn't it?
It really is. Like, honestly, it's like a bunch of kids who've gone on a school assignment and they've never written a story before or production, and they've had a go. And I honestly think it's just the bad committee. Too many cooks spoiled the broth here.
Yeah, there's definitely been more than one person working on this, and it feels like they've been at like loggerheads for most of it. It's like people. There were definitely people who didn't get on with each other working on this movie, and you can tell. It feels it. It doesn't feel like something that will come out of like a coherent development group.
No, well, the fact three writers are credited for if it was a series, I would get it.
Hmm.
But for a movie, three writers credited means there's at least 10 writers uncredited involved.
Why would you need that many writers for something that's
It's
only 90 minutes long?
it's ridiculous. And then you've got this soap opera. See any scene with Angela Miller in it, even the music changes.
Hmm.
If
She is without a doubt the love interest.
oh yeah,
The only problem is she's a love interest in a film where nobody else is interested.
not even Leon really.
Not even. I mean, there is a kiss. It's not. There is a kiss, but technically they're exchanging oxygen. That's as far as it
Yeah,
goes. Ah.
but hold on, does Leon and Claire not have history from their joint experience? Was that not no? Leon's involved with Ada Wong, isn't it?
You're going into depths that I haven't plumbed now.
Sorry, no, it's Leon and Ada Wong end up in a romantic thing. Chris, her, and
God, but Ada Wong, totally reasonable.
oh.
Hmm.
No, he's not. It would have made more sense if he was. If they had a binned Angela Miller's character and put Chris Redfield in this, it would have made more sense. And them arriving as a team, or in fact, Chris still remained in Stars. Claire left, so it would actually make more sense for Chris and Leon to arrive as the specialists and team up with Claire, and then they just got on with a normal Resident Evil mission. Once again, Angela's Miller's character served no purpose in this. She didn't even serve as a redemption arc for Curtis or to bring him back from the brink or fuck all.
She only she does. She serves a purpose, one singular purpose: eye candy. Right at the end.
At the end, she's not eye candy anyway through this. We'll have Claire Redfield, but they relegate her to the basement because it's like, oh, we want to make Angela Miller the main character.
Right,
so let's get Claire Redfield, the better character, the established one, the one that we all know. Let's just shove her in the basement.
Damn it! I don't want to. I really don't want to. But I need to see the other films now to see if Angela actually has a role in them. Could it in the next? Oh, I know the last one that they did. Death Island. I know that's got Leon in it. The only reason I haven't watched it, I've just seen like some of the promo material for it. So I know that Leon's in it. I also know it's meant to be pretty good.
Maybe they figured it out.
Maybe they only had one person write it.
That's usually a good idea. Have one coherent storyline. What a mad idea.
It's like it can never work.
So we've got the Claire Redfield plot that she was there as an activist, realized she made a boo-boo. We have the Curtis Miller plot, getting revenge for his family. We have the Fredericks plot where he's selling the virus or something.
Yeah.
But didn't even get that paid off because who was he supposed to be meeting in the car?
We no idea because
it wasn't the senator. The senator's the type that doesn't do his own dirty work. We've got the senator who's just a MacGuffin.
I do like the fact that they tried so hard to make the senator look like the bad guy. They completely failed.
They actually did the opposite. You're like, nah.
They still have like a payoff at the end where everybody turns around and goes, "Wait, what? The senator isn't the bad guy?" And you're there throwing like popcorn at the screen, going like, "Oh bloody come on, we figured this out like an hour ago."
Yeah. After the second scene, you're like, nah, they're trying too hard. It's like, nah.
There's no way he can be a bad guy because if he was a bad guy, like someone would have stabbed him by now.
Yeah.
The
only way he could have been a bad guy if he was getting blackmailed, which would have fitted with the over-the-top character that he was.
Yeah.
But nothing else about him. What other? Yeah, we've got the G virus plot. The fact they're using the G virus to make the vaccine, but then Fredericks even says to the other shadowy organization, which we're going to maybe meet in the sequel. Yeah, don't mess with the G virus, too volatile. Fair enough. That goes nowhere.
Yeah, that just kind of like it's like it kind of like hints at something, but that's all it does.
Yep.
It's like there's no payback from that. It's kind of like, are they trying to like build tension and excitement towards like the next movie? Because if so, they didn't do it for me.
Well, if you can't even finish the current movie, what are you going to watch the sequel for? If you've noped out, if you're not even halfway through the first movie and you've switched off and you're like, huh, don't care anymore, what chance does a sequel have?
Well, believe it, right. In America, this film is like Resident Evil Degradation, right? Received really terrible reviews. It's like it's bland, it's boring, it's flat, nothing really happens. Japanese loved it, which is why I think the film
bad
after this was
transition.
made. I honestly think I'd like I said I'm almost tempted to see if I can find like the Japanese version, just to see if it's better, because a lot of these things are driven by what the actual people are saying. It's driven by the script, and it's like the American script, just the English script, just comes out as being like really flat and really badly written.
Yeah,
it's like that bit in the first Resident Evil film where Barry, whatever his name is, turns around to Jill and says like, "You take this lockpick because you are the master of unlocking." I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if it's kind of like it's lost something in translation.
but you can't get it this wrong, especially with the. I would understand if this was the first attempt or whatever, but Sony, Capcom combined, and already this is off the back of God, I forgot when it came out now. 2008. So God, this is well into the history of the franchise, the movies. There's plenty behind this to make it work. Get the best translators, etc.
Oh yeah, honestly, this is well into like well into like anime hits the West.
No, but even I'm just thinking, even within the microcosm of Resident Evil. Resident Evil is huge as a franchise. I don't think people really appreciate. You're talking rival with Disney, one of their like superhero stuff, or Warhammer, or Star Wars. Resident Evil is on par with that. Resident Evil is massive. So for it to get it this wrong doesn't make sense. Like I said, we're already when it's been described as Resident Evil 4.5, it's not like it's 4's Veronica, isn't it? 3's Nemesis, 4's Veronica.
I'll take it. Where's Chris when we need him?
Oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a swing and a miss.
And then we've got because I can't think what else we can say about this, because honestly, there's nothing. Why did Fredericks, if his idea was to distract everybody while he sneaked off, why bother with the gloating scene? All they had to do was click out the door. In fact, something should have happened, and he just sneaked out, did a Burke out of Aliens.
Yeah.
Sneaked out, and then just went, that's it. Next time, cut the scene to him. He has everything recorded, but he went and explained everything, and then while he's on the phone, explained this plot.
but it's kind of like villains have to. Their villains have to do that, don't they? There has to be like some scene where the villain stands there and goes, "Ha ha ha! I'm doing this because of that and this and the other and go on for 5 minutes." In anime, preferably like cherry blossoms blowing across in the background, or if it's Bond, the pool full of sharks. There's always has to be a moment where the villain gets a chance to explain himself, just in case the audience aren't up to speed. But it's like, yeah. I mean that's right at the end. We haven't had the fight scene yet with
Curtis the Tron.
Curtis. I can't remember the name of the G-Virus mutant.
It wasn't Nemesis. It wasn't one of the Executioners. It's almost like it's his own thing. And Jill encountered it before, but like I said, I haven't seen played Resident Evil 2 in ages. Need to go and sort that out, actually. Yeah. No answer. Don't
So
care.
to say, maybe if we went back when we played through Resident Evil 2 again, this would make more sense.
Possibly, but I think this is too detached. Like, it does not feel like Resident Evil. It feels like it's almost like GoBots compared to Transformers. It feels like something adjacent, but not quite there.
Like GoBots compared to Transformers. What you're saying? This is superior to the original Resident Evil.
Or like the toy shops, and you get the like.
One of the few people who actually enjoyed GoBots.
I can't even remember it. I remember having some of them. I remember was their toys were die-cast metal.
Yeah, they were a lot
For like
smaller
£3.
and a lot simpler. It's like, look at this. I've got an airplane that turns into robots. You pull its legs out, its feet are joined together. You fold its wings back. That's the robot.
But they were die-cast metal, like Matchbox boxcars. I remember that with the toys. I don't remember
as well as Transformers did. But yeah, they were just kind of like way kind of like simpler. And it's like in the animation as well, the animation was way simpler.
But this feels like bargain basement. They've just copied, just enough, almost to not get copyright. But you're like, that's made by fucking Sony and Capcom. Why aren't they going all in and making it lower?
It's Temu Resident Evil. It's Resident. It's Bio Express alert from AliExpress.
But then they put all the hashtags, the Resident Evil hashtags, so it appears up in the same search.
Yeah.
But they make sure the title's different enough that they don't get sued.
It's generically generic. Oh no, what's the term? Oh, never mind.
It's very generic, not specific. They've named a couple of people, and that's it. And you're like, yeah.
I think if they'd have put more effort into it, it does
some effort. I would argue some effort.
It feels like anime by committee. It feels like there's just been like too many chefs. If they'd have turned around and said, look, this is what we're making. We're going to make it this way. I say so. Nobody else gets a say in it. If it had been one person doing his thing, I think this could have been a good movie. They've just tried to. It's almost like they've tried to please everyone with what they've put in it, and by trying to please everyone, they're just pleasing no one.
Yep, that's the oldest adage since the dawn of time. When you try to please everybody, you please nobody.
This is the best example of that adage of all time.
Let's put all the stuff in, and let's hide the bad plot with action sequences.
Yeah, I've seen some made by committee anime that are absolutely nothing like either like the original source material.
Like, why didn't they just drop all the pause in at once? That would make more sense. If they're purging, it would just be an immediate. Think of the Red Queen, which it does in the first movie.
Yeah.
She was efficient and she did not mess about. That whole intro scene to the first Resident Evil movie, when they're in the hive and the contagion gets released, and the minute the triggers go off, boom, 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 everything shuts, and it just is that even the people who are working here know what they're part of are just confused and scared at the veracity and just the way everything goes. This thing plays like have you played Transformers Fall of Cybertron?
I have.
Do you know when they're trying to restart Metroplex again?
Yeah.
That's what this feels like. It's like they're trying to restart Metroplex, but they're like bouncing about and bits are falling and cogs, transformer cogs are doing this, that, and the other. And
God,
you're
yeah. Oh, Jesus.
that's basically what this feels like. It's a computer game because it's just giving you enough warning to know, and you're almost expecting like a little little circle that you need to be here before it changes. And you have to jump, or else you fall down and lose the level.
It's like this piece of the building is going to go off in 5, 4,
3,
3,
press X to jump.
1. He's like press A, and he's like,
Yep. Sorry,
you're there hammering the E key.
Yeah,
but it's damn it, it feels if the entire thing should be a Resident Evil game, but they've just cut the gameplay out of it. And unfortunately, the gameplay was the best bit.
Yeah, because these cutscenes
just get longer.
Oh well.
I've got to be honest though, when they get into kind of like my God, I've got to look it up. When they get up into like Wolf Former's headquarters and they're fighting Curtis. I actually think when the building starts to go through its self-destruct seekers, that's my favorite thing in the entire film. Because I just like the way it does it, and I like the way it's like it bit by bit it drops into this huge burning pit, and you see like all the safeties cutting off and all like the pipes separating and flying away just before it drops. It's kind of like, do you know, I'm going to nick that and I'm going to put it in a game.
Yeah, it makes sense, wouldn't it? Something's getting
because it's kind of like it's the long-winded way, and the evil lair should fall to pieces, giving everybody chance to get out.
And if you feel the puzzle or what, then guess what? You feel the level.
If you don't manage to do like your pixel perfect jump across 2 platforms, that's it. Boom, you're scuppered.
The hanging off the edge scene with Angela and Leon and Curtis was painful.
Let me go.
And once again, the hanging by the fingertips and everything and all that kind of, you're like, no, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's the bit. It's the kind of bit where she's explaining like saving people's lives, and as someone told her, you know, if you don't try and save one person's life, you won't save anyone's. And I'm like, that's gonna come back and bite us later in the film. I know it is.
There's no surprises here. It's all telegraphed, and it's like real disrespect to the audience, especially Resident Evil fans. Resident Evil is not a, it's a full-bodied franchise. Games, there's plenty that get, like you said, they get more involved as the plots go on because they're building on it. The movies did a brilliant job.
Yeah. It's like the first game, the first game in itself is kind of throwaway.
Nice to show up.
Really explain anything.
No, we don't even get Jill's big knockers. We get substitute big knockers.
Yeah, there are.
There are big knockers, but it's one scene at the end.
That's right. You don't worry about it, Chris. You don't actually have to know anything about it. You just have to go like, yes, no, and that will pretty much cover everything. Because
go to the last 10 minutes. Don't bother watching this.
It's like that's basically what we've been saying the entire time we've been doing this. It's like it's not really very good. It's the kind of thing that any like true-blooded Resident Evil fan needs to watch, so they can actually have something in like the Resident Evil franchise that they don't like.
Yeah. And then you can appreciate, and then if a small mistake happens, and then you get really fixated. You go, well, at least it wasn't this. At
Yes.
least it wasn't Degeneration. This was Degeneration, all right. Degeneration of the franchise, degeneration of the plot,
I think that
degeneration of the animation, because it's
I think
awful.
that's why it's called Degeneration. It's so
Yeah.
that they don't have to say "we're so sorry" at the end of the credit. Didn't watch the end of the credits.
Resident Evil, the shit cut. The shit
As soon, as soon as the music at the end started, that was it. Bang! It was gone. I wasn't looking for post-exit, post-credit scene or anything. It was like stop.
Yeah.
Well, that was a thing. Rolled over, went straight to sleep.
Even the fact that the ending scene where they're combing through the wreckage, setting up for a sequel. It's like this is a sequel setup scene. Oh my god. Are you even trying anymore?
It's
Are you even gonna
the new bad guys, Tricell Incorporated, which you've got to admit is slightly better than Will Forman.
Will Farmer was just like bargain basement, honestly. That was a bargain basement evil pharmaceutical company.
It wasn't even bargain basement. It was like it was like
Three
like
for a pound. Like
it was like, hello, Will Farmer. The they are the AliExpress of Umbrella.
yeah. I want the Umbrella Corporation. We have Umbrella at home. This is Umbrella at home. Fucking Will Farmer. It's like,
oh god.
Oh dear. Well,
there's several more. There's several more of
there's
these.
5 of these in total. There's another 4 of these movies. But talking of this, do you want to see what we've got next in store?
Crystal, what's it? Crystal get to watch one of them sometime and think, I think we should sit on him and make him watch this one.
I don't think you'd miss anything out by skipping this one and going to the next one. I genuinely don't, because there's no plot.
If these films follow each other in like chronological order and the plot follows one from the other, the only thing you have the only thing you would miss out on this film is the fact that Umbrella no longer exists and their mantle has been taken over by Will Farmer. But by the end of this, Will Farmer's gone, and Will Farmer's mantle is going to be taken over by Tricell.
Yeah.
So you'd start, if it's the same, you'd start watching the second one, and you'd be like, it wouldn't be like, who the bloody hell's Will Farmer? What's happened to Umbrella? It'd be like, who the bloody hell's Tricell? What's happened to Umbrella?
Yeah.
None of this, none of this stuff that we've watched, none of this list that we're reading from that. It's like none of it matters, because all of it it's just so inconsequential to like the Resident Evil universe. It's like it's set like 7-8 years after Resident Evil 2, and they say it's kind of like Resident Evil 4.5 because it's set between 4 and 5.
Yeah, I don't think even it affects the gameplay. I think this is just made that it's self-contained, that if it does blow up, then doesn't blow up badly, then it doesn't affect the game either. So they're playing it safe in that respect. But then again, why bother making it?
I think I've just answered Chris's question.
Yeah, basically, this is Resident, and it's nothing to do with the movies. It's the gameplay. Yeah. It's Resident Evil 4.5. It's between the events of 4 and 5 in the game series. And I hope it doesn't replace it, because this is Wibble. I think they've just kept it to the side that it doesn't replace canon, because
I think it's like wait, it's kind of like everything right with T virus, G virus, Umbrella, the characters. It's like Leon's in it. What's her name? Yeah, she's in it as well. Claire's in it. Claire's in it.
Relegated to that part.
Yeah,
because of Angela's boobs.
Yep, Angela's boobs. Right, yeah, right. I was going to say everything that appears in this film comes from canon, but it doesn't seem to add anything to canon apart from Angela's boobs.
Yep. And all Umbrella has to do is come back. They've been underground, and then they come back as a force, and everything snaps back into...
Not that I mean to sound horrible and misanthropic here, but it's like Angela's boobs are without a doubt a full battery from the battleship HMS Bristol.
No, well, we'll see what happens. Right, shall we spin the wheel? See what we're doing next? Because this is.
I think we need to pick me up after that. So I think we should.
Yeah, we need something good. We need to. please be merciful.
If it's Bleach 3, I'm still calling Fix.
Let's see. No, obviously. Let's see. Right, let's click it. Let's do it. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters.
Oh God. Oh God.
I don't know how I feel about this because the Netflix ones were weird.
Right. This year,
4 of these as well. There was 3 of these. Sorry, there's 3 of these movies.
Right. This year is either this year or next year is the 70th anniversary of Godzilla. There you go. Random fact for Godzilla fans.
There we go. Yep.
Godzilla, Planet of Monsters. I have never seen this, and I have heard conflicting things about it.
This is a 3-parter. Yeah.
Let's go Google.
So we are spurred any more of these for the minute. Planet of the Monsters, 2017.
Running time 88 minutes. Box office $3.3 million.
A desperate group of refugees attempts to colonize Earth 20,000 years after Godzilla took over, but one young man wants revenge above all else. Have I seen that? Is this the one where you've got the Godzilla? He's like biomass. He's effectively turned into the mountain.
It may be.
Do you know what I'm talking about? He's basically plant life. He's almost like Swamp Thing, but he's Godzilla. Or have they done a couple like us?
Oh God! Oh wow! I've just done a quick flick through of the plot. It's already warned me there's a post-credit scene.
Yeah, well, it's a trilogy, so.
Wow. Kobu Shizuno, the guy who directed it, has done some really good stuff.
This is warnings with 2 directors, and we have 3 writers.
I'm right. Godzilla belongs to Toho.
Yes.
I can't see that. I could expect that Toho will have kept a really tight rein on this. Because Godzilla is one of the things that made Toho famous.
Oh, Hiroyuki did Knights of Sidonia. Do you remember that?
Wow. I would say what Kobun did a lot of Detective Conan movies, and I'm quite a big fan of it. They're not horror, but I'm quite a good fan of Detective Conan.
Oh, and Evangeline one. We're doing one of the Evangeline ones. It's on the list.
Yeah, right. The guy who directed the film we've just watched was also involved in 2 Evangelion films.
Yeah, they're both involved in Knights of Sidonia, so I'm guessing that's how they came together. So don't really know much else.
Develop. Shaita. Great. Sechta. Let's see what he's doing.
I haven't seen Detective Conan. Fist of the North Star. Oh no,
Fist of the North Star. Fist of the North Star is a classic. It's also a shame it's not horror.
I know, like at this point, if we were going to start going down that rabbit hole, we need a new channel.
Everything.
I'm sorry, I don't have enough time to run 2 channels because I'm going to run a second channel. I'll have to be the same intensity as this one.
It's like everything anime horror is good. I've been watching this thing called Flowers of Evil. It's good. It's very good.
Yeah.
Add it to the list. It's the problem. Every time we watch something from the list, like 3 more things crop up. It's not gonna get
It's a Hydra. It's a classic Hydra's head, isn't it? It's just
It's like we finished with that one. 2 more pop up. No, the children of the Hydra's teeth. They're so strong.
oh man. Yeah. So there you go. There's that. Fun times ahead, eh?
Oh yeah. He has done some. Wow. It's like the members who it names on the crew of Godzilla. They're all like pretty well-known names who've done some really good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried.
The only time Godzilla's went wrong is when Hollywood's got a hold of it.
Ah, the monster. You mean the film that came out in '95, The Monster That Ate New York?
Yeah. Oh god.
It's like it's like I think it may be if you go to Japan, it's a legal requirement that you do not call that a Godzilla film. It's literally known as The Monster That Ate New York.
I like that.
So
yeah.
I didn't mind that film though. It just wasn't Godzilla.
No. Do you know what was more Godzilla? It was fucking J.J. Abrams. Cloverfield was more Godzilla than that.
I still reckon that Cloverfield is one of the best creature features to come out of the West.
But he just straight up ripped off Godzilla.
Yeah,
and he ripped off the Godzilla movie. That's one.
It's like Cloverfield. What was it? Cloverfield Lane and
10 Cloverfield. No, the futuristic one, the time travel one, or whatever.
Cloverfield Haywire in the International Space Station. Didn't like those. I didn't like Cloverfield Lane.
He nicked those scripts. It came out. He swiped the scripts and just stuck them in the universe. They were completely separate stories.
It's like
the guy's a dick.
Well, at least the third one is like you actually saw Cloverfield at the end of it, but like 10 miles high.
Yeah, but the rest was just a completely contained survival movie.
Yeah, but it's like the Godzilla that we're just about to watch is kind of like the sequel of like the last Cloverfield film, because it's like mankind has left Earth because Godzilla has destroyed so much, and they're coming back to take Earth back from Godzilla.
I think I have seen this.
I know I haven't, but I do know of it.
I think this is one where Godzilla is biomass. He's not actually a flesh and blood creature. He's trees and moss, and he's actually a mountain, sort of, things fused together. And then there's different Godzillas.
It's kind of like Godzilla Attack of the Hippie.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just like that storyline, unless they've done another movie like that.
Godzilla's there. He's like, it's all kind of like biomass, man. Yeah. You've got to take care of the earth and the biomass and the environment and things like that. It's probably wearing a bandana. It looks pretty good. It's like the poster. The poster makes it look like an action film.
Was it?
2017
was when the movie industry really figured things out. Yeah. Everything went to rat shit after, like, it was going bad from 2010 onwards, but like 2016, it really just went off the rails.
They just kind of like it. I think the problem is it's like they just try to pump out as many films as possible, and you can't pump out film after film after film after film and expect things like story, quality, acting.
Yeah, but even if you're writing or anything to do with storytelling, if you're becoming just a machine, and just turning out, you're not going to have the quality there. You're not giving it each thing time and consideration.
Yeah, because every time you stamp something out with a mold, the mold gets a little more worn, a little more ragged around the edges.
So you need to have a better breathing space. I don't cover anything by the Jimmy Savile Club. That was a Jimmy Savile Club production, so I'm not covering that. Sorry. Just I will not give that channel or that corporation any airtime or thought whatsoever. Doesn't matter what they did in the past. There are too many sins. But yeah, there you go. We'll see how this turns out. Be interesting to know if I have actually seen this. And then, Chris, you better be ready when Resident Evil pops up again. You better be ready for it because we need you on board.
I'm going to get a bottle of something in for the next Resident Evil. No, right. Hang on. No. I'm going to be optimistic. Right.
Gotta have optimism. You gotta have.
I'm going to be optimistic. Yet the next Resident Evil film could be the worst turd in the world. It's not going to be any worse than the one we've just watched.
This is true. We've now got our low bar.
Sorry, Resident Evil fans and people who like the game. It's like this. It's definitely like this film. The film is based. It's almost like the Resident Evil films take place in like a slightly different universe.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely takes. This is almost like it's hard fit into the timeline of the games. It's definitely part of the game universe, not the film universe.
Mm. Yeah, but that was fine. The film universe was its own thing. That's what made it so successful. It didn't try to overwrite, or you could slightly stand away from canon because it was its own plot. The Alice storyline was its own thing, and I'm grateful for that. Why not just do it? Well, once again, they could have done it with us, but they didn't. They just made a complete hash of it.
Yeah. Question for you, why did the senator die at the end?
Because the shadowy organization above him that hired him or owned him or whatever else needed rid of him. Or did he kill himself in disgrace, or was he bumped off? Who knows? Who cares?
Or as he was asleep under a newspaper, did he just kind of like die by death by cheeseburger?
Well, it was that the fact they couldn't run 10 yards without falling over and being in bits.
The fact that just walking did his leg in.
Yeah.
See, Chris, you've missed it. I said the Irish were involved because it's like this. The senator in this looks like a certain spacefaring leprechaun.
Well, that'll be a theory we'll never hear.
I know, right?
It's a shame. Maybe next time. But there you go.
Like the theory. It's like the problem is, it's like we'd have another like 2 hours to go on this because all the theories that you could come up with for this.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I just think it's just a mess, honestly. You could do that. That's just all over the show, and not a good entry.
It feels like it was made by committee. It feels rushed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of the I actually do think like find something good to say about this year. There are a lot of things. There are several, not a lot. There are several things in here that would make a lot more sense if they were like expanded on.
Oh, you mean it be a movie of its own?
Yeah,
and not shoehorned into the one. Have one plot line, one storyline.
Or get this for a weird idea: instead of being a 90-minute long film, being a 12-episode long series, which would give them more time for like background stuff and to discuss things.
Yeah, and have things, but still need the one storyline. There's too much going on. Even for a TV show, this would be a mess. Think about it. You get these episode 6, and you're completely into a different plot.
At least that gives you 5 episodes like to close off the first. That's normally how anime works, though, isn't it? It's like you have a plot line that covers the first 6 episodes, and you have a plot line that covers the second 6 episodes.
Do you know some of those? Yeah, but do you know some of those series that have like season 1, 2, and 3 squashed into the first season?
Yeah.
Instead of expanding it out.
Yeah.
You honestly had season 1, 2, and 3 in this. There's like 3 different things definitely going on, and would have needed, even as a TV series, would need its own season to sort out.
I still think my favorite character was Frederick. It's just where he's like, "What all, old chap? I'm not the villain at all."
Would
you like that? Do you think he's British? Like, would you like to come to my office and have some tea with me? My God, he's British.
Yeah. Nah, even that whole thing, he could just went himself. Job done. Why
Yeah,
bring her?
that's it. It's like if Frederick had been the villain and you haven't had like the other two, maybe three villainous characters, it'd have been a lot more concise story.
Yeah.
Can anyone see this? What? Resident Evil? I can give you a link.
We've answered you twice, you numpty. Friggin' stop wagging off and pay attention. Frig's sake, see these children that attention seek. I've answered about 3 of his questions. I don't know. I give up. Anyway, I think that's a good point.
It's time for a nice long cold drink and a biscuit.
Yeah, I need to go get my throat rest because I've been at this for like
You
about a 4-hour role playing session just literally before this went live.
Game straight into this.
Yeah,
Grief.
I was finished just a wee bit early because of technical issues, so I had 13 minutes, a whole 13 minutes to jump across. I don't mess about. Gotta go hardcore. What's the point? If you go to stream, you go to stream hard.
It's like
Stream, yeah, ultimate, yeah.
It'd be nice if it was kind of like, a better series or a better film.
Do you know, but I don't care. Honestly, it's not even, you can watch a shit movie, but it's fun to riff on it. You know what I mean? It's fun to actually share the experience. If it's a bad movie or a bad series or something, it's just as much fun to actually go, was this complete shit? It's like when I did I had Kat on from Delight and Fright there to discuss Sinners. Everybody is universally gushing over that movie. And it's a bit like this. It's a complete mess. There's too much going on.
I'm going to say that worries me when people are gushing about films too much because it's like, why are they gushing about it?
Yeah. And it's almost like the studios running damage control, and then the social media ones are like, you will like this movie, or you're blah, 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 or we'll hate you. You know, you're almost bullied into liking it. And it's like, nah.
No, I have my own opinion.
And I don't do edgelording either. You know, if something's good, something's good. If I enjoy something, I enjoy something. But when you watch something you're not enjoying it or you have issues, it's nice to come on and talk to somebody to go, am I really thinking this, or where am I missing? Like, there's times I've not enjoyed something because I've missed a plot point and somebody's explained to me, I'll actually this bit, and then I think about it and go, all right, and then I revisit.
That's like,
and I might change my opinion or warm up to something.
It's like, rest easily, Colin. This was terrible.
This is bad. Yeah.
It's I can see things that they could have done that maybe would have made it better, maybe even saved it. But it's kind of like the film as it exists at the moment is
yeah.
It's for the fans. It's for the Japanese fans who always do things kind of like 10 times louder and faster than anyone else does. It's done for the people who are like standing at the entrance to the theaters with their hair hanging over one eye, dressed as Leon S. Kennedy, doing their best edgelord impression while people take photographs of them. It's done for them. It's done for the cosplayers. It's done for the otaku mod. It's done for the people who are fans but slightly crazy.
Fair enough. So yeah, shiny lights basically. Stamp a logo on it.
Yeah. But it's a shame. It could have been so much better.
This isn't a money issue. This is a talent issue.
Yeah, I was going to say Capcom. It's like Capcom did it. Capcom took a part in it. Sony took a part in it. The money was there to make this the greatest thing ever. But like you say, it's just the entire thing has been done up by committee.
Yep.
And instead of saying like, no, that would be a bad idea, this would like push the story. This wouldn't push. This would just confuse people. It wouldn't push the story in any kind of direction. They've just turned around and gone, yes, whatever you say, whatever you want, it will go in there. Yeah.
Oh well, such a shame. Let's hope the further entries are better, because 5 of these type of movies is going to be like painful.
I'll try not to think about it.
No, let's think about Godzilla next. Let's see how that
Godzilla.
goes. But there you go. Flea, thanks as always for turning up, mate. Appreciate
Or
you. Thanks for everybody in the chat and who's watching. Don't forget to see us there. Don't be afraid to say hello. And just even say, until next time, keep up the other channel, do the type of clicking things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.